Hey guys, I'm back, and you're watching another episode of Against the Wall. So you might be asking yourself, hey, we haven't seen any videos since like Christmas. What's going on? Well, the truth is, I got COVID. And so I was down for a while, but I'm back. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'll do something on that later. But today, we're doing another episode of Against the Wall. This is where we look at a verse, scripture, that has the word wall in it, and then I talk about it. So, here we go. Today, we're looking in Exodus chapter 14, and I want you to look here at verse 21, okay? And this is what it says. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided. So the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea on the dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued them and went after them in the midst of the sea, all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. Now, if you go down a little later, we see this verse again here, and it says that in verse 29, but the children of Israel walked on dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. So, we see this passage here, and if you're wondering, if you haven't figured it out yet, this is where Moses parts the Red Sea, where God says, hey, look, I'm providing you a way out. And he tells him to stretch out his hand, and it's actually, we know, God who parts the seas. And not only does he part the seas, but he makes the land that they're going to go across, it's not muddy, it's not wet, but it's perfectly dry. And he said they walked through. Now you got to imagine what this was like for the children of Israel. I'm sure there was some fear in their hearts. I'm sure there was some awe, some wonder. But whatever they were feeling, I mean, here they are. You can imagine walking through. Imagine almost, if you will, like going through an aquarium. One of those that have the dome up over you or whatever, and you're sitting there and you're looking at the fish or the sharks or whatever, and you're walking across and it's dry. But only there's no glass in between you. Literally, the waters parted, and they were just holding back like this on each side, and the children of Israel were just crossing across on that dry land. And you know, it got me thinking that so many of us, we go through life and we come to that point where we're just like, that's it, I can't go any farther. There's too much of an obstacle in the way. Remember, the children of Israel were like shouting, let's go back. At least we had food. At least we had this. At least we had that. And the problem is they forgot how bad they wanted out. And I think sometimes we can get in that place where we're like, but at least I have this. I've got that. I'm pretty much got all I need. No, things aren't like they want them to be, but at least I'm comfortable in the situation I'm in. Or we go back sometimes out of habit of things we used to do, or things we know we shouldn't, but we'd still do them. And that, that's just it. The children of Israel, there the sea was in front of them. They had nowhere to go. But what they do, they trusted in God, and Moses trusted in God, and they parted the sea. The children of Israel walked through, and when Pharaoh and his horsemen and his army decided to pursue, God allowed the waters to come back and drowned Pharaoh's army. The enemy was gone. They were past that barrier. They were past that wall that stopped them. And here they were on the other side of it. And that's how it is for us. Sometimes we get to that wall. We get to that thing that's just stopping us. And we're like, oh, okay, I don't know, God. I don't know what else to do. I guess I'll just go back. But when we trust in Him, He wants to part the waters of life, the troubles of life for us. And He wants to push them back. And He wants to make it where we can just walk across. All we have to do is trust in Him. and just follow that clear path. Follow those parted walls. And like I said, there was a wall on each side of water. And you know what? Sometimes we got to remember, even when we're walking through that, there's still walls on each side. We can't get distracted. We can't be looking at the fish or, in our situations, the things of life that wants to distract us. But we got to keep moving ahead on that path that He's provided for us. And when we do that, we'll get to the other side. And we'll see that God's blessings and His word are always true. All we have to do is trust Him and take the path. You know, the path is narrow that leads to heaven, but the way is wide that leads to destruction. I hope you'll take these words. I hope you'll trust God. I hope it's been a blessing for you. And I hope that you will follow the path that God has put in front of you. Don't worry about the walls and the obstacles. He'll take care of them for you. I hope it's been a blessing. And until next time, have a great day.